If you live anywhere near the coast, your air conditioner isn't just another appliance in your home. No way. It's really more like a soldier, fighting a tough, relentless battle every single day just to keep you comfortable. And the crazy part is, it's constantly under attack from the very environment it's trying to protect you from. So let's really get into that. Why is your air conditioner in this constant state of war? That's the big question we're going to tackle here. And believe me, the answer is something every single homeowner in a coastal area needs to understand. What are these forces that are working against it 24/7? All right, so the main villain in this story, it's the environment itself. We're going to break down the four key forces, the really relentless ones that are just punishing your HVAC system day in and day out. Seriously, think of these as the four horsemen of the AC apocalypse. First up, we've got the most obvious enemy, just brutal, searing heat. In a lot of these coastal spots, the summer heat index easily climbs over 105 degrees. What does that mean for your AC? It means the compressor and all the motors are forced to run for 12 hours a day, sometimes even longer, with absolutely no break. It's like asking a marathon runner to sprint the entire race every single day, all summer long. Okay, next on the list is the crushing humidity. And this isn't just about you feeling sticky and gross. All that high humidity rolling in from the Gulf or nearby bays creates this massive amount of moisture that your system has to physically rip out of the air. And all that water, it becomes a perfect breeding ground for all sorts of nasty stuff inside the unit itself. And then you've got this invisible threat, one you probably don't even think about: salt. Yep, the salt in the air is a silent killer for HVAC systems. It puts this constant coating on all the metal parts of your outdoor unit, and it just dramatically speeds up rust and corrosion. And finally, number 4, the surprise attacks. You know those afternoon thunderstorms that pop up out of nowhere? Well, they do a lot more than just cool things off for a few minutes. They bring power surges and flickers that can literally fry the sensitive electronics in your system. We're talking control boards, capacitors. It's like a sudden electronic knockout punch. So those are the enemies, right? The heat, the humidity, the salt, and the storms. Now let's look at the real-world consequences. We're going to talk about 4 super common ways your system can fail, and these are the direct results, the clear signs of your AC losing that battle against the climate. All right, failure number 1 is something a lot of homeowners unfortunately discover the hard way, usually when it's already too late. It all starts with a simple little clog, but it can quickly escalate into some seriously expensive water damage inside your house. So here's the chain reaction, step by step. Remember all that humidity we talked about? Your AC pulls gallons of it out of the air as condensation. Well, that constant moisture inside the dark, damp drain line is the perfect place for algae and mold to grow. And as it grows, it creates a blockage. The water has nowhere to go, so it backs up, overflows the drain pan, and the next thing you know, you've got a big, ugly water stain on your ceiling. Now, our second failure is a little more sneaky because it happens so slowly over a long period of time, all thanks to that corrosive salt air. It goes after the very heart of your system's ability to cool, the coils. So here's how it plays out. That salt in the air just eats away at the metal coils, creating these microscopic pinhole leaks. Through those tiny holes, the refrigerant, which is basically the lifeblood of your AC, starts to escape. Your system can't cool as well, and even worse, the compressor has to work harder and harder to try and keep up, which can lead to a total, catastrophic failure. Okay. Failure number 3 is the one that's just sudden and so frustrating. One minute, your AC is humming along just fine, and the next, nothing. Just silence. And this is usually the calling card of those summer storms we mentioned. So those power surges from storms, they just zap and destroy capacitors. A capacitor is basically what gives the big motors the electrical kick they need to get started. When it fails, you might hear your outdoor unit making this humming or buzzing sound, but the fan and compressor just won't start up. The good news? It's a pretty cheap part to replace. The bad news? If you ignore that humming, you could end up burning out the much more expensive motors. And this last failure, number 4, this one isn't caused by Mother Nature. This one is pure human error, and it usually happens way back when the system is first installed. See, having a system that is the wrong size for your home is a recipe for disaster. And there are 2 ways to get this wrong, and both are bad. If the unit is undersized, it'll run nonstop, always struggling to cool your house, just wasting energy and wearing out the parts way ahead of schedule. But believe it or not, an oversized unit is just as terrible. It blasts so much cold air so fast that it shuts off before it gets a chance to pull the humidity out of the air. The result? Your home feels cold, but also damp and clammy, just plain uncomfortable. So when your older system finally gives up, you're hit with that big, expensive question. Do I sink more money into repairing this thing, or is it finally time to replace it? Well, there's actually a pretty simple rule of thumb that can help make that decision a whole lot easier.
It's called the $5,000 rule, and it's just a super quick guideline to help you figure out if a repair makes any financial sense. The idea is really simple. You just take the age of your unit in years and multiply it by the estimated cost of the repair.
And here's the magic formula. If the age of the unit times that repair cost comes out to more than $5,000, well, replacement is usually the smarter long-term bet. It really helps you avoid throwing good money after bad on a system that's on its last legs anyway. Let's just walk through a really quick example. Let's say your system is 12 years old, and a technician tells you it's going to be a $500 repair. Okay, so you take 12 years times $500, and that equals $6,000. Since $6,000 is more than $5,000, the rule says it's probably time to start shopping for a new system. Now, if you do decide it's time to replace, listen up, because this next part is, without a doubt, the most important thing we'll talk about. The quality of the installation is infinitely more important than the brand name on the side of the box. A top-of-the-line system that's installed poorly is just going to fail, period. This right here shows you the huge difference between the wrong way and the right way to size a new system. The shortcut, the lazy way, is just based on your home's square footage. It ignores everything else. The right way, the professional standard, uses something called a manual J load calculation. This is a super detailed analysis of your home's windows, your insulation levels, how much sun it gets, everything, all to make sure the system is a perfect match for your home. So what should you be looking for in a quality installation? Here are the absolute must-haves. First, they should be using those manual J and manual D calculations for sizing and ductwork design. Second, they have to seal every single duct joint with a goopy paste called mastic. This prevents air leaks. Third, the refrigerant charge has to be verified with precise measurements, not just a quick peek at the gauges. And finally, and this is crucial, all the work has to be permitted and inspected to make sure it meets local building codes. And here's the payoff. If it's all done right, the sizing, the installation, and of course, ongoing maintenance, you can realistically expect to get a solid 12 to 15 years out of your system, even in one of these punishing coastal climates. This is exactly why getting that installation perfect from day one is such a critical investment. Which really brings us back to our final thought. Your air conditioner is, without a doubt, the hardest working appliance you own, fighting that nonstop battle for you. So after everything we've gone over, the real question you have to ask yourself is, have you actually set it up to win?